should the election of MMDCEs be partisan or non-partisan? Should the election of these metropolitan um, executives, municipal executives, and district chief executives, should it be a partisan or a non-partisan thing? We have to look at when this thing started in 2019, when the president decided to put a stop to the ways in which the referendum on the election of these MMCDEs was going about. As many agreed with him, there were some who were disappointed in his approach. They were disappointed because there was no more an opportunity for them to vote and elect for their MMDCs. But now you can't really blame the president, because when you look at his reason for doing so, he was looking at a more non-partisan approach to selecting these district chief executives. He didn't want it to be based on a party thing, so that the right people will be selected and not people who have a connection with those who are in power, or those who have a hand in what they are doing. So when this happened, he saw there was no consensus to it, so he had to put the process to a stop, the way they were elected. Now when you look as part of the reforms of the political party of this government, the NPP, you see how they sought an amendment to Article 55, number 3 in brackets of the Constitution, to allow for different parties to participate in this district, so that while they were looking at amending this, also while they were looking at putting this one in place, they were also looking at amending the Article 243, which was also to sort of make a way for the election of the MMCDEs to be little or less partisan. Now when you look at the national referendum that was scheduled for 2019, that was December 17th, it was truncated because there was not the right public knowledge, and in fact there was no consensus on those reforms. People were aloof as to what it was all about. So the government had to withdraw those two bills that were aimed at amending the way these heads were elected. You can recheck Article 53 and then Article 243 of the Constitution to see what we are talking about. Now these two bills were to allow the participation of political parties, both in the local level and also at the national level in some way, by helping them to be able to sort of sponsor those candidates who were elected, and to make the election of these candidates by taking away the powers of the president, so that it would be only based on those political parties, and it will not have nothing to do with who the president wants to be there. Whilst this was being looked at, it also meant that it would sort of allow partisan participation in local levels, and the election assembly members, and also in fact the unit committee members would also have some hand in this type of election, but it will be on a partisan basis. Now one good thing that happened was the introduction of this CSOs, which is the civil society organizations. They had an initiative which was very good. Now these CSOs were for the non-partisan election of these MMDCEs, because as at the time when things were even looking rough in that area, the MMDCEs were appointed by the president, and it was even done with the approval of not less than, I think, 2/3 of the majority of those who were members of the assembly, and they had to be present, and then voting was done at that meeting. Now, when we look at some of the chaos that has occurred with regards to the MMDCs, you'd see the reason why these CSOs are important and the role they play. Because if you want to revisit the issue of electing the MMDCs, either on whether a partisan basis or a non-partisan basis, we would all agree that the most important thing is that the right people should be elected. Those who can do the work, not just those who want it. It could be that the person who can do the work is going to be the one chosen by the party, or maybe not, whichever. The most important thing is whether partisan or non-partisan, the one who can do the work is what is more crucial. Now, the initiative of the CSOs was, to embark on a nationwide level to sort of make all the regions in Ghana to have an idea of, the stakeholders, to look at how they would revisit, this MMDCE's issue, both on the local government reforms as well as on other platforms. And their initiative is understandable. One good news about their initiative is that it is not one that is of the government, neither is it one that is of the major opposition party, which is the National Democratic Congress (NDC). So, because it is not influenced by either of these two strong political parties in Ghana, which are dominating Ghana right now, it has less influence of politics in it, but more of who's right and who can do the work well, so that we don't have square pegs in round holes. Now, when you look at their approach of this non-partisan election, they will have an insight from the major groups about, what works they can do, what their strengths are, what are their perspectives, what are their interests, and what are they hoping to achieve when they come into power. By accumulating all these things from those candidates, there's going to be a much wider spectrum to what should be the way to go and how to get these people to be efficient and be very adequate in their places of work. And by the way they go about it, they get all people on board to ensure that the country is deriving the maximum benefit from these human resources, and it will not just be a matter of party against party, but a matter of who is going to do it and who's going to do it well, regardless of the party they belong to. Now, when the CSOs are given an upper hand in the election of these MMDCs, it would, make performance at the local level very, very, very adequate, because they are the ones who are going to watch how the MMDCs are going to function, and this way they'll make sure that they serve the people in humility and address those important developmental concerns of the people of Ghana. And then it was also going to put an end to the arrogance and all the disrespect that some of these people portray when they get those positions, because when people are confident that it's their party who rules and it's their party who has a hand in choosing such people to do those works, they would more or less of put their focus on it's my party, so I can do whatever I want. But when you take that partisan hand from the election of these MMDCEs, there will be little or less or no at all arrogance and then pompous attitude that we see sometimes being portrayed by such people. Now, this is a very good thing. When you look at the way the major difference in the two approaches has led to the collapse of the 2019 referendum. It shows you there's a lot being done to make headway for the nation. We look at even the participation in local government, and also now the election of MMDCs, devoid of political parties, and how we are going to change things to suit the nation and not to suit people's political interests. These changes are going to ensure efficiency and very much ensure effectiveness of the systems that we are putting in place at all the levels, especially the local governance level. Now, when you also look at the way the coalition is done, there has to be an awareness of the election of the MMDCs, that is not only going to be enough to bring those required changes at those local level, but to also take it further. There should be an education done to the public, to let them know how these things are being done and to see the involvement of the public inside them. There should not be more or less of a strict private election of these things. There should be just a little, at least a little influence from the public to see how their interests are like, and to see how they can also contribute to getting this MMDCs on board, because no, that it's the public that these MMDCs are going to serve. So we should open room for all levels and not just stick it up to one particular structure, giving those positions to those who are going to be playing a key role in them. Now, we have many stakeholders and people who are pushing for the formulation of some suitable policies with regards to the MMDCs, and because they want to ensure some viability and visibility and accountability in all this that the people who will be elected will be doing, and it's going to make it easier for people to understand who's on board, for people to also understand who's in a certain position and why the person is there. Let's also look at the way we would have the right people representing the communities. Remember, it's one thing to have the person who can do the job, and it's also another person who can represent very well the needs of the communities, the needs of the regions, the needs of these places where they have been given the position to function. This is because you can go to an area where you create for them a borehole, or maybe you create for them some football field, and it's a good thing, but you would only be successful if you understand that their needs at that particular moment is roads, their needs at that particular moment is a hospital, it's not a football field, it's not a public square. So you get it. We shouldn't only look at those who are going to be very well doing the task that they have been given, but those who will be able to represent the needs of such municipalities, districts, and then areas, and all these communities that are being sought out to help them. So when we do that, we are going to take away the wasting of some resources, which it's very common in most governments. You would realize that people just want to do things to show that, oh, we did this, oh, we constructed this. That has to be put aside. It's not about what you constructed, but it's about what you did that was needed. You get it? If you construct, for example, a road, though there was a road that maybe it wasn't tarred, and at that time you use the money to make the road a better road, it's a good thing. But if that road was pliable, it was not a bad road, and then you were not able to use that money to make a hospital in that area where there's no health facility at all, then you've lost the mark. The road is good and all, but the main needs will not be met, and people will be losing their lives. So that's just an example. So let's take a very good look at this, and then let's Your comments are welcome. Should it be partisan or should it be non-partisan? What should be the role of the civil society organization in it? And also, how should we include the public, the general public, to be a part of the election process? Should the governments have a higher hand in it? Just let us know what you feel about it. Okay, so we'll be waiting to see your comments in the section below. Thank you for listening, and please do have a very nice day.